everybody, it's Nelly and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make a typical Mexican soup. It's very simple, very easy to make and really delicious. And I have to say that even to this day, it's probably both my kids' favorite meal. And it's the one meal I could always count on that both of them would eat. Otherwise I had to make separate dishes for both. Another funny story is that when we were on vacation visiting my in-laws and everybody was at the house, we were having a family gathering, and I wanted something to make for the kids that was quick and that I knew they were going to eat. And I wanted to make this dish, and my mother-in-law was like, "Oh no, you can't make it. None of the kids are going to want to eat it." And I said, "Well, can I just try?" And I ended up making it, and literally all the kids and most of the adults ate it. I ran out. So anyway, I hope you enjoy, and let's get to it. And I put the large chunks of onion into a blender. And I add some Knorr Swiss powder. It's chicken broth powder. And my kitchen would just not be my kitchen without some of this in my kitchen. It's just magical. I also add a can of diced tomatoes. You can use really whole tomatoes, whatever you have on hand, but you want a can of tomatoes. Now, sometimes I use like stewed tomatoes, work well with this, and I just don't add anything with chili in it. So just stewed tomatoes, whole tomatoes, whatever you've got on hand. And I fill it up with additional water just to get all the remnants of the tomato in the sauce. And now to the blender. So I'm blending this. I want to get it nice and smooth because this is what's going to be the sauce for the SOPA. It's the Knorr Swiss is a little salty, so you want to take it slowly and add until you're comfortable with the flavor of the salt in the soup. Now what I do is I don't add all of the water that is going to go into the SOPA, into the blender, because it would just be too much, and sometimes it overflows and it's just a mess. So I don't add all of the water, and now I'm adding the remainder of the water that I like to start off with for the soup. As you can see, I have a pan. So I have the heat on a medium-high heat, and I turned it down a little bit once I put the pasta in. And now what we want it to do is just lightly brown. And I'm gonna wait till that happens. So another funny anecdote is that this was one of my staple dishes for cooking for my kids when they were young. and their friends, because our house was, you know, one of the homes that all our kids came to. They were usually at my house or at, there were 3 of us moms, and so they were, all of the kids were either at my house or one of their houses. And when the kids would come over to my house, you know, I fed them. And this was one of the items that it was one of my go-tos. And you can see that it's getting light brown. Just to interject my little story here, it's light brown. And this is about when you can add the sauce. And so I'm going to add that right now. And also I keep some warm water off to the side to add to it if I feel that it needs it. If it's getting a little too thick, I add a little bit more water just to get it melded in, just so it's not too thick, because you want it a little runny, you know, kind of soupy, because it just makes it taste so much better like that. You don't want it to clump up and being, you know, thick. And anyway, so the story goes that my younger son's best friend was over at the house, and I made this for them, and my son was just, you know, in heaven. He was gobbling it up, and my son's best friend Losi was, you know, just kind of staring at it, and then he kind of casually said, "Nelly, I'm allergic to SOPA." And I, you know, held my, you know, like I didn't want to laugh in front of him, but I said, "Oh my goodness, okay, well, what would you like me to make you?" And, you know, ended up making him something else, but I thought it was hysterical that he was allergic to it. Hadn't tried it, didn't know what it was, but he was allergic. He was so cute. And anyway, so I tell him that story now, and he says, "I don't even remember that," but it was really funny. So it's a favorite story of mine to tell. So all right, so now we are, it's starting to bubble a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more water because I can see it's a little thick. And it will reduce, it will cook down a little bit. And the reason why I add hot water to it is because if you add cold water to it, the noodles tend to clump up and not disperse evenly. I don't know why it does that, but I guess it just doesn't want to work with cold water. And so anyway, that's why the hot water. And at this point, I just kind of let it simmer a little bit. You want the noodles to be soft, but you don't want them overly cooked, because then it does get a little bit mushy. And the other thing is that you can use any kind of small pastas. So other than this, sometimes they have like the alphabet, the little letters in pasta shape, and they also have like a melon seed, which is my personal favorite, and it's just little melon seed size pasta shapes, and I do that with this. And you can also use the really mini shells, which is also another favorite, but you can use any one that you prefer. And some people like the noodles, like my family just will not eat the other shapes. They love the noodles, but I love the melon seed and then the shells as well. So it works with anything that you want to try. It's very quick. It works great for kids. It works great for adults. My husband absolutely loves it to this day. And when you're serving it, you can add a dollop of sour cream or a dollop of, yes, mayonnaise. I don't know what it is about the mayonnaise, but I prefer it and it tastes delicious. So when I have the SOPA, I will have it with a dollop of mayonnaise. And of course, your warm tortillas on the side. So I hope you enjoy. I'm going to continue to cook this down and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Now what you want to do is taste it. You want to taste it for salt and seasoning. What I added was Knorr Swiss, and my kitchen would never be without the Knorr Swiss powder, the chicken broth. And oh my goodness, that's perfect as it is right now. And I'm just going to let it sit a little bit. And as a matter of fact, what I like to do is just turn the oven off now, because the residual heat will finish cooking the vermicelli pasta. You can also use the Fideo noodles. Those are even thinner, so you have to be really careful not to let those get too overcooked because they will turn mushy. But you can use that, and like I said, any other size shaped pasta that you want, as long as it's the small one. And so it's done, and I served myself a bowl, and I added a dollop of the mayonnaise because that's the way I like it. And oh my gosh, this is so good. It's perfect the way it is. I'm in love. So my family just loves this. I really love it. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to let you know when I have a new video come out.